In this experiment, we are going to discuss about identification of electronic components. The aim of this experiment is to identify electronic components, that is resistors, capacitors, inductors, transformers, diode, Zener diode, LED, transistors, ICs, D-type connectors, BNC connectors, crocodile clip, banana plug, coaxial cable and the fiber optic cable. The objectives of this experiment are, at the end of the experiment, the student should be able to identify active and passive components and the identification of various types of cables and connectors. In the last lecture about this experiment, we have discussed about active components as well as passive components. Then we have discussed about resistor, inductor, capacitor, transformer, diode and Zener diode. So in this lecture we will be going to discuss about light emitting diode, bipolar junction transistor, then integrated circuit and the different cables and connectors covering the D-type connector, BNC connector, crocodile clip, banana connector, coaxial cable and the fiber optic cable. So we have gone through the passive components, that is resistor, capacitor, inductor, transformer. Then we have also discussed some of the active components like PN junction diode. It's working under no bias, forward bias, reverse bias, its VI characteristics, then ideal diode characteristics. Then we have discussed about Zener diode, the difference between Zener and avalanche breakdown, avalanche multiplication effect, then graph for Zener and avalanche breakdown mechanism, then application of Zener diode as a voltage regulator. So now we will be discussing about LED. LED stands for light emitting diode. So how we define LED? LED is basically a PN junction opto-semiconductor device that emits the light of a single color when operated during the forward biasing. So LED can be considered as a transducer that converts electrical energy to the light energy, and this is the symbolic notation of LED. So what is the difference between the ordinary PN junction diode symbol and the LED symbol? The symbol is similar to the normal PN junction diode, with the difference that here the arrows are shown showing the emission of light or emission of photons. And this is the pictorial representation of LED, and this is also the practical view of all the LEDs, different color of LEDs we can see here. So if we see the pictorial representation of LED, so how we identify the two leads? The two leads are not equal. The one lead is longer and the another lead that is short. So longer lead, that is considered to be the positive terminal, that is the anode terminal, and the short lead is considered to be the negative terminal, that is cathode terminal. Now let's say if by mistake we can say both the leads they are cut and the size is made equal for both the leads, then how to identify which one is anode and the another is cathode? For that purpose we can see internal representation in the dome type structure. So in the dome type structure we can observe that the width of cathode, that is large here as compared to width of anode. So on the anode side we see longer lead but the short width inside, and for the cathode side we see short lead here but the size, or we can say the width of cathode, that is comparatively large. And the another way to identify anode and the cathode, that is we can observe this cross section, and if we observe the cross section, circular cross section, uh, then we observe that that is not completely circular. We carefully observe that on the cathode side the cut is there. This cut is showing the flat portion, or we can say cut in the circular section. This is showing this particular side is cathode, and the complete circular side section, this side, this is anode. So by three way we can analyze which terminal is acting as anode and the another is acting as cathode. And carefully we need to identify the two terminals, because LED emits light, we have discussed. Under the condition it is forward biased, and for applying forward biasing the P type should be connected with the positive potential of the battery and the N type should be connected with the negative potential of the battery. So to operate LED during the forward biasing, we must be clear about the two leads of the LED. Now we are discussing about the working principle, that is the light emission in the LED. So we observe that this is the pictorial representation where we can see here the diffused p-type layer that consists of gallium arsenide material, and here we have epitaxial n-type layer that is again the gallium arsenide material. So this n-type gallium arsenide layer is acting as cathode, and the epitaxial p-type gallium arsenide layer that is acting as the anode. And here the dome type structure is there, so that we have the emission of light in all the directions. And as we have discussed that the light is emitted under the condition the PN junction diode is forward biased. So here we have diffused p-type layer, here we have the epitaxial n-type layer, and it is forward biased by connecting p-type with the positive potential of the battery and the n-type with the negative potential of the battery. Usually LEDs are operated at 5 volt or less than 5 volt, and there is protection of LED by connecting a series resistor for the current limiting purpose. So how this LED works when we apply the forward bias potential? So this positive potential of the battery that is repelling the holes in the p-type layer, and the negative potential of the battery is repelling the electrons in the n-type layer. So we consider the case that when the electrons are repelled by the negative potential of the battery, so electron from the bottom of conduction band, when it falls in the top of the valence band, so when the electron is coming from higher energy towards the lower energy, so obviously the energy is released in the form of light. So that depends upon the type of material, we can say. Like we have two type of material. The one is the direct band gap material and the another is the indirect band gap material. In the indirect band gap material, the valence band and the conduction band both are misaligned here. So here the energy is released in the form of heat. Usually the silicon material or the germanium material that we use in the ordinary PN junction diode, that consists of the indirect band gap material. And in the case of direct band gap material, the valence band and the conduction band both are aligned, and here the energy is released in the form of light or photons. So basically in the LED the direct band gap semiconductor material is used. For example, gallium arsenide material that comes under the category of direct band gap semiconductor material. Here we can see the VI characteristics of LED. So here we are applying the forward bias voltage, and here we can see the forward bias current. So we can see here the LED is going to emit the different colors under the different operating forward bias voltage, and depending upon the semiconductor material the different colors are produced on the different wavelength lines under the different forward bias voltage. So here we can see infrared LED, then red LED, then orange LED and the blue LED. They are operated at the different voltages, and for the infrared LED the material used is the gallium arsenide material, Then for the red LED and for the amber LED, amber or we can say orange color, we are using the same material, that is gallium arsenide phosphide, but for producing the different colors, the operating voltage is different. Here it is 1.8 volt, here it is 2 volt. Then for yellow color, gallium arsenide phosphide with nitride combination is used. For green color, the aluminium gallium phosphide is used, and for blue color silicon carbide is used, and for white color gallium indium nitride material is used. So with the different colors we can produce the different types of lights in the LED. Here is the list of advantages and disadvantages of LED. LED consumes less power, economical, light in weight, miniature in size, longer lifetime. LEDs operates very fast. They can be turned on and off in very less time. LEDs do not contain the toxic material like mercury, which is used in the fluorescent lamps, and LED can emit the different colors of light. And what are the disadvantages of LED? The LED may get damaged by over voltage or over current, and LEDs are not suitable for the large area displays primarily because of their high cost. Then next device under discussion, that is transistor. Transistor consists of two words, that is transfer plus resistor. Transfer means there is a transfer of signal, and resistor means on the input side the resistance is considered to be low, and on output side the resistance is considered to be high. So when a signal is transferred from low resistance input circuit to the high resistance output circuit, so signal gets amplified. So what is the basic role of transistor? That is to amplify the signal. Amplification means boosting up of a signal, that is making the weak signal as a strong signal. So we can have two type of transistor. One is bipolar transistor and the another is the unipolar transistor. So if in a particular device the conduction that is considered because of two type of charge carriers, that is majority charge carriers as well as the minority charge carriers, that particular device is considered to be bipolar. The example of bipolar transistor is BJT. BJT stands for bipolar junction transistor. And if we talk about unipolar transistor, here current is due to only one type of charge carriers, specifically the majority charge carriers. An example of unipolar transistor is FET. FET stands for field effect transistor. So in the bipolar junction transistor, we have the three layers, that is either NPN or PNP. When a layer of P-type material is sandwiched between the two layers of N-type, that particular BJT is called as NPN BJT, NPN bipolar junction transistor. And when a layer of N-type material is sandwiched between the two layers of P-type, then we have the PNP BJT, that is the PNP bipolar junction transistor. And in the BJT, three terminals are there. The one terminal is considered to be emitter, second is base, and the third is collector. And basically two junctions are there, one in between emitter and base called as EB junction, and the another between the collector and base called as CB junction. And these are the symbols of BJT. Here we can see if the arrow direction on the emitter that is shown outward, that is the symbol for NPN BJT, and if the direction of current is inward, that is the symbol for PNP BJT. And technically current flows from P to N. Here we can see this base is P type, emitter is N type, and the current is flowing from P to N. And if we see this PNP transistor, here emitter is P type and the base is N type. So here we have the direction of current from P to N. So what is the role of three terminals of BJT? The function of emitter, that is to emit or supply charge carriers. Function of base, that is to bypass charge carriers. And function of collector is to collect charge carriers. And if we compare the doping profile, emitter is heavily doped, base is lightly doped, and the collector is moderately doped. And if we see the width of 3, the collector is made with the large width, the base is made with the small width, and the emitter is made with the medium width. So we can observe that the base doping is light and the width of base is small. Why? Because we want the less number of recombination should occur in the base. As the role of emitter is to emit, the role of collector is to collect. So as base is just bypassing charge carrier, so we want very less number of charge carriers should recombine in the base, and maximum charge carriers supplied from emitter should reach the collector. That's why the doping of base, that is kept light, as well as width of base is kept small. And if we see the biasing profile, emitter is forward biased so that it can emit charge carriers. The collector is reverse biased so that it can collect charge carriers, and biasing of base, that depends upon emitter and collector. And usually emitter is the left hand section, base is the middle section, and the collector is the right hand section. And practically the BJT that is shown here with the 3 leads and the number, identification number for BJT, that is BC547. So in the BC547 BJT, we have two sides or two facing. The one side dome type structure is there, and the another side the flat side is there. So if the flat facing we are putting towards us, so we can see here the left terminal is collector, middle terminal is base, and the right terminal here is emitter. And this is a symbol of BJT, and this is the pictorial representation of BC547. And the next device, that is IC. IC stands for integrated chip or integrated circuit, where the millions or billions of components are fabricated in a single package. Here we can see, like here we have taken the one example of 7404 IC. This particular IC is meant for NOT gate, and here we can see pins in the IC. Total 14 pins are there. So how to identify which particular number is assigned to a pin? Because the IC size is very small, so pin numbers are not mentioned on the IC. But in every IC, notch or cut is there. So this particular notch or cut we are putting on the left side, and we identify that the left side bottom, this is considered to be pin number 1, and then we keep on counting till the last pin. For this particular IC, the last pin in the bottom side is 7. So in front of 7 on the another side, then we continue with the numbering, that is after 7 here we have 8. Then after that the counting proceed from right to left till we have the last pin. So last pin here is pin number 14. So different pins are meant for different purpose. Like this particular IC, that is used for the NOT gate, and here we can see total 6 NOT gates are there in the single IC, and pin number 7 need to be connected to ground, and pin number 14 need to be connected to supply. So basically IC that can be bipolar logic family based IC, or that can be unipolar logic family based IC. So their operating voltage, that depends upon the logic family. Usually in the lab we use the TTL logic family based ICs. TTL stands for transistor logic, that is in the bipolar logic family. Then the next that is the D type connector. So basically D-type connector, that is the plug and the socket based connector that is commonly used on the PCs. So here we can see the plug and the socket arrangement. This is the plug, or we can say a male connector is there in the D-type shape, and here we have the socket, that is the female connector, that is again the D-type shape is there. That's why this is called as D-type connector. And here we can see the D-type connector can be DB9 connector or DB25 connector. So if 9 slots are there, the 5 on one side and the 4 on the another side, that makes DB9 connector. And if we see total 25 slots, 13 on one side and 12 on the another side, that is the DB25 connector. So basically D-type connectors are used for serial interfacing, that is RS-232 serial link connections. We use in the PC for connection of in keyboard, mouse, joysticks. So basically all the peripheral devices are connected to the PC via serial interfacing using D-type connectors, or we can have printer connections also with the help of DB25 connectors. Then the next connector, that is the BNC connector, and BNC stands for Bayonet Network Connector. So basically BNC connector, that is considered as the radio frequency connector, and that is usually used with the coaxial cable. So basically BNC connectors are used with the coaxial cable in the radio, TV, and the various other radio frequency electronic equipments, in the test instruments, and for the video signals. Basically that is considered as alternative to the VGA connector, and that is used with LAN systems, CRO, TV, DVD players, and the purpose of BNC connector, that is to improve the quality of video signals and the various networking applications, and it is again the uh, considered to be a connector for the radio frequency equipments. Then the next device, that is the crocodile clip. So crocodile clip is also called as alligator clip because its resemblance of jaws with the resemblance of jaws of alligator or crocodile. And the purpose of this crocodile clip we can see here, that is used for temporary electrical connections. So basically the cable is connected to the battery or some another components we have discussed. For temporary connection we can use it. Then the next connector, that is the banana connector. So basically banana connector, that is again the plug and the socket arrangement is there. So that is basically a single wire electrical connector used for joining the wires to the equipments. The next we have coaxial cable, or short form this is called as coax. So basically in the coaxial cable we can see here four layers are there. This D, this is shown as copper wire. Then outer layer here is the C, that is the dielectric insulator layer. Then we can see here B layer, this is the copper shield is there. Then outer this is the plastic sheet is there. So basically why this is called as the coaxial cable, because here the inner conductor, that is this copper core, and the we can see here this is the outer shield. So both are sharing the common geometric axis, that's why this is considered to be the coaxial cable. Then the next cable, that is the fiber optic cable. So fiber optic cable, that is basically the very thin strand of pure glass, and that is used for the long distance communication, and it works on the principle of total internal reflection. So in the fiber optic cable basically two layers of glass are there. The inner layer, this is called as core, that carries actual light signal, and the outer layer, that is considered as cladding. So cladding is also a layer of glass that is surrounding the core. So basically cladding has a lower refractive index than the core, and because of this total internal reflection takes place within the core, and the light gets transmitted, and that light is carrying the signal. So basically the fiber optic cable, that is used for the long distance telecommunication and the high speed data connection between the different parts of the building. And this is the pictorial representation of fiber optic cable with the core and cladding arrangement. And basically what are the advantages of fiber optic cable? That has very large bandwidth, and that is less susceptible to noise and interference, and that is thinner as well as lighter. And what are the disadvantages of fiber optic cable? that is comparatively expensive to install, as well as it is fragile and difficult to splice also. So this is all about all the electronic components and their identification. These are the references used to demonstrate this experiment. Thank you.